When you teach multiple preps, the word differentiation can feel like a trap. You're already planning 3 to 5 subjects or courses that happen every day or every other day. Each class has students with IEPs, 504s, ML needs, behavioral plans, gifted and talented tags, or all of the above. And somewhere in your teacher prep, someone probably said, just modify your lesson to meet each learner's needs. Right, because you've got hours and hours to build 4 versions of every lesson, right? Here's what I wish someone would have told me earlier. You don't have to create more versions, you just need to design smarter from the start. Welcome to the Secondary Teacher Podcast, the podcast for middle and high school teachers juggling multiple preps to get the strategies to reduce overwhelm so that you don't have to choose between being an effective teacher and prioritizing important relationships. I'm your host, Kristen Masick, a 10-year high school engineering teacher, former middle school assistant principal, and teacher coach. Every week, we will discuss strategies, systems, and time-saving tips to help you not only survive but thrive as a multiple prep teacher. When we design lessons for the so-called average student, here's what happens. Our top students get bored and check out. Our students who need support feel like they're falling behind before they even begin. And we, the teachers, burn out trying to fill every gap. It's the worst of both worlds, overworked and under-effective. The truth, there is no average. There are students with patterns and needs, and there are systems that can serve them all, but not if we start by diluting everything down to the middle. Now, this might sound backward, but when you design your lesson for your most advanced student, the one who's always asking, what's next? You're actually giving yourself a foundation to work from, not scramble backward into. Here's how it works. You design the core challenge or task at a higher level. You build in supports and entry points that allow others to access it. You simplify the path, not the expectation. It's not dumbing it down, it's giving all students access to rigorous, meaningful work without you reinventing the wheel 5 times. Let's say you're teaching computer-aided drafting in one class, intro to engineering in the another, and capstone in a third. You could plan 3 different projects, or you could start with one high-level protocol like a design critique or a project pitch and scale it down or scaffold it differently depending on the class. Instead of designing a new lesson per prep, you design one challenge and modify the entry points. Give sentence starters for your multilingual students. Pair students with peer supports. Offer printed instructions for IEP accommodations. Use timers, visuals, or task checklists for executive function supports. You're not lowering the bar, you're widening the path to get there. And that's the sweet spot. One of the biggest misconceptions around differentiation is that it's all about empathy. And yes, empathy matters. But what really saves you as a multi-prep teacher is systems. Let's break that down. A standard warm-up routine that adapts for all learners, a clear feedback protocol that works in every class, one anchor activity structure like introduce, practice, produce that flexes across subjects. And when your base lesson is built at the top level, those systems become the backbone, not the afterthought. Here's the biggest thing I want you to hear. Teaching smarter isn't cheating. Simplifying isn't lowering expectations. And designing for your strongest student isn't exclusionary. It's strategic. Because when you know what the end goal is, you can find 1,000 different ways to help every student move toward it. But if you start with, how do I meet everyone's needs? You'll freeze before you even begin. So this week, take 10 minutes during your planning time, pick one class, ask yourself, what would this look like if I designed it for my top student? Then opened the door for others to access it too. And watch how much easier differentiation becomes. You don't have to split yourself into 5 versions to be a responsive, inclusive teacher. You just have to start with clarity and build in support. And when your systems are sustainable, your teaching becomes transformational for every student in the room. Until next week.